Dear people of the world, the historic meeting of 47 international heads of state and high-ranking officials this week at the Nuclear Security Summit in Washington, D.C. is an occasion that countless people all over the world are observing with great hope, excitement, and concern. With a new sense of urgency, world leaders are beginning to converge around the consensus that all nations must work together to minimize the threat presented by nuclear weapons and terrorism. Although the hour is late and the nuclear challenge we face is hard, this moment is ideal for a true breakthrough towards a planet liberated forever from the fear of nuclear weapons catastrophe. In May 2010, the United Nations will reconsider strengthening the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT. The NPT requires nuclear weapon states to negotiate destroying their nuclear weapons, plus general disarmament so that non-nuclear weapon states will never acquire them. A groundswell of political leaders is calling for total abolition of nuclear weapons to represent a central focus of negotiations at the 2010 NPT. Already the mayors of 3,793 cities in 143 countries have formally endorsed the Mayors for Peace objective of total abolition of nuclear weapons. Over 100 international leaders have announced a plan for the phased, verified elimination of nuclear weapons, starting with deep reductions in the US and Russian arsenals, to be followed by multilateral negotiations among all nuclear powers for an agreement to eliminate all nuclear weapons. This campaign is called Global Zero. This growing group includes former heads of state, foreign ministers, defense ministers, national security advisors, and top military commanders. And polls show that the overwhelming majority of international citizens support the goal of eliminating all nuclear weapons. Millions of Japanese people are even petitioning for world leaders to achieve global nuclear abolition by 2020. At the same time, in the United States and internationally, popular movements are mobilizing now to press for a successful conclusion to the 2010 United Nations NPT review. From April 30th to May 2nd, 2010, in New York City, thousands of people will gather for the International Conference and Day of Action for a Nuclear-Free World in advance of the United Nations meeting. At this week's historic Nuclear Security Summit, it is our duty as United States citizens to applaud President Obama for this positive initiative that he has launched, while pressing him still to do much more. For without the leadership of the United States and Russia toward global nuclear abolition, humanity is destined to continue living in fear under a nuclear sword of Damocles. Yet we also need the determination and courage of all peoples of the world if we are to rid our planet from the risks of nuclear war and terrorism as soon as possible. You, the citizens of each nation, have a crucial role to play in this effort. You must work to help ensure that countries without nuclear weapons never acquire them, and that countries with these weapons disarm as soon as possible. And on the international stage, you must strongly and urgently demand to your elected leaders that they too work for peace through global diplomacy and cooperation in pursuit of nuclear disarmament and the complete abolition of nuclear weapons. With solidarity and sincerity, a coalition of U.S. citizen nuclear watchdog groups. And we welcome your endorsements to everybody watching this. And you can find us online at www.prop1.org.
Hear, hear.